In. Hello and welcome to Turning Point Tactics. And on this episode, I have a very special guest, one of the top players in the UK, here to talk all things Imperial Navy breaches. So we've got a little bit of discussions where we're going to talk through basically all things breaches, how to play them, best tactics and tips and that sort of stuff. So plenty of stuff to be excited about. And Serkan's going to be joining me throughout the episode. So hang around and we'll get straight to you after the intro. Hello and welcome to Turning Point Tactics, the competitive Killteam 40k YouTube channel focused on giving you the strategies and tactics to seize initiative every turning point. I'm your host Ryan, and I'm here to help give you the tips and tricks that elevate every part of your Killteam experience. So no matter if you're a casual or a competitive player, there should be something here for you. If you're interested in supporting the channel, there's a few ways you can go about doing so. You can join the Patreon, where you'll get access to members only Discord, Patreon priority questions, early access to content, exclusive content, and tournament awards. Or if you find yourself buying Killteam goodies or hobby supplies, you can use one of our affiliate links in the description below, or
like
discount code with Crossfire Games.
Like listening to it on my way to work.
We're always keen to hear your thoughts and feedback, so don't leave that comment box empty. Let us know what you think. Once again, thanks for your support, and with all that said, let's get into it. This up. I just realised I muted myself, so that was good. So I'll do all that again.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Okay.
So, anyway, welcome to the podcast. We are in the UK. It is the hottest it's ever been known to man. So if you see us suddenly start sweating, that is why, because it's ridiculously hot. But we are braving that heat to give you guys some awesome Kill Team content. I am joined by one of the best players in the UK, Serkan, who, much to my inability to get good players on the podcast, I haven't actually been able to get on yet, even though he's been one of the top 5 UK players in the last 3 years, if not 4 years. I don't know, like it's been a while. Like you definitely should have been.
Let's say top 10 to be
Okay, top 10, sure, since the beginning of time. So Serkan, for those who don't know you and want to know a bit more about you, are you able to do a quick introduction and explain who you are and why you love Killteam, that sort of stuff?
Of course, yeah. So, hi there. My name is Serkan. I've been playing this game since 2020. It started like a COVID project. I stuck by it. So I played a time where like you had to just like roll injury rolls to Marines, and then like I had to just like sniff the arms to put the Volkite gun or something like that. So this is where I started. I started playing like 2021. I'm a part of the old ones. So we are a good team, I would say. I'm not the flashiest of those players, but I'm an enjoyer of the game. I got the golden ticket for the last 2 years, 3 years as of this year as well. And then I'm enjoying the game and breachers. I also I'm a researcher and I have a PhD in user experience. So I can comment on that as well, like the user experience of.
He is the professor when it comes to Killteam. So yeah, we are going to try and cover as much as possible all things breaches, and hopefully it's going to be a really awesome episode for people. But Serkan has experience with other teams as well, so we'll try and get back on to other teams in future. But this episode is breacher focused. I'm going to get straight into it because we try to ram our content with all sorts of good stuff. But I'll just touch on a few bits that you mentioned there, because I'm pretty sure the old ones, were you the top team at ITC last year?
This year, last year, the year before that, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, so you guys were like pretty much, I think it was like, if not top 3, I think you guys were best last year at like top ITC team. And you have the likes of Dan Barton, and you have obviously Bart, Guy Barton, it runs in the family, Serkan, Tom,
Nick.
Nick.
Yeah.
Who else is part of?
And there's supposedly like Dave, but he's not playing.
Oh yeah,
the game,
Isaac, right? Isaac.
And then Mikkel now, and then Mikkel is in the team.
Mikkel. Yeah, okay. So it's a really strong base of players, which is like an awesome practice group. So when it comes to like getting people together to have like a what's it called? Oh, I've just done the wrong thing. To have a test bed is really awesome. So let's talk about breaches then, because that's kind of why we're here. So if we do, I guess, okay, let's just go straight into it. So if we do the options overview, so for those who maybe aren't used to horde teams, maybe like a smooth-brained elite player like myself, who looks at just like 5 or 6 options and goes, yeah, I can figure that out. is there anything that, like, when you look at a huge roster of operatives, where you're like, okay, what's worth taking, what's not? Because from my
Sure.
look at Breaches, it seems like they have a lot of options, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love the team. I started playing them a couple of months ago, and I never looked back. I don't know why people don't play this team. It's a really nice team. So it's like a 11 or 12 operative team with a very solid kit. And I think, like me, they are not the flashiest of kill teams. So that they don't wear fur. They don't wear they don't have the craziest rules. They just like 2 APL, 8 wounds, 4 up save, 3 shotguns, and everything in their kit is to buff those like core stats, which I think is just fantastic. And they don't have ways to generate CPs. They don't have a way to heal themselves. They don't move outside of activation. They die when you kill them. You can. I mean, you can see them outside of 3 inches. But the core thing, they do it really well. And then I think it's just fantastic. I love this team.
And they're pretty honest, right?
Yeah.
Like, because that's what he's saying is like,
Yeah.
there's I think a lot of teams are. We're getting more into like the tricksy counter teams now. Like, that's what it feels like in the meta, where you've got these things where it's like, I just have this, like, is bullshit the right word? Yeah, I just got like this bullshit where you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I just don't do that then. Whereas Breaches, like, kind of like Angels of Death, in my opinion, are a bit more just like, hey, you know what you get. You're having an honest game of Killteam, but they're just decent.
Agreed.
So when it comes to like operative selection,
Sure.
because again, like, way back when I used to play Breaches back in the day, the skull wasn't very good. Like, we're talking Breaches of old right now, right? And so, like, and there was a few times you're like, oh, I don't know if this gunner choice is worth it or not. But now I think that might have changed a little bit. So for someone who's coming to like Breaches and they want to look at the operatives, like, based on those data cards, are there any that you're like, straight away, these guys are auto include, that's a never take, this is situational? How do you rate the various operatives that are in the team?
I think I think they are all really good, and then they have their own place. Apart from that last volley gun guy, the rest is just like so good. They're like 1+10 operative team, and then just like a cat and skull is just like counts as half. So you can have 11 or 12 operatives. 11 if you just like drop them, and then just like 12 if you get them. So you can play around with your activation. You can play around with like how the team is built. You usually take the same team, but on board, they all do very specific things, and I think they're like super good. I mean, obviously the sergeant is the you have to take it. Again, like super basic, 9 wounds, power weapon, 2/4 lethal 5-up, like relic pistol, and I think it's just like really good because like it's also putting the marker in, and so the attack order, defense order, we're gonna come to it obviously, but it's just like whenever the sergeant activates, you can move the attack order from A to B. So you have to actually know, when to activate that sergeant, which is like in the grand sequence of things. I'm an elf player, so usually I'm super smooth brain. I play Mandrakes. Like before that, I was playing Harlequins and Corsairs. So after those teams, this is a different kind of like mindset. They don't feel like horde to me. They're just like they all like do different things, which is great. And yeah, so as I said, like Sergeant is obviously you have to include Sergeant literally, and you have to know when to activate it. Which in that case, it's a very important model.
Because so another team you did play was Sanctifiers, right? And obviously the Confessor is like, I guess, similar to that, right? Where like you look at that list of the teams, you're like, but like, because that's a similar thing, right? So if you're a Sanctifier player and you're thinking, what parallels does this team have? Is that a similar vibe where you're like, when you do the Confessor, or is it a bit more like how?
Confessor is a weird one because Confessor is a tank, and then like all the buff is centered on the Confessor, whereas Sergeant is just normal dude, like 9 wounds, 4 up save, and then he will die, which is just like a power weapon and then like a pistol, and then that's it. So it's almost like it's a strategic model that you have to keep safe, because it's essentially like generates a CP for you every turn, because like he puts the attack order for free. But yeah, so it's not necessarily the same. And then like on the other one, on the Sanctifiers, it's a very hard hitting piece, like 5/5 shock, whatever, like as a 10 wounds, and like all the buffs is centered on him. Sergeant is not like that, no. So I would say it's quite different.
Okay.
When you play with Sanctifiers, I think you play around that Pope, we call it, the guy. Yeah. And when you're playing with this team, I think you play with the board. So like you know exactly, or you should know exactly, like what are the ranges, where you put your buffs, where you put like what's your territory, like how can you go to your opponent's territory, and then that defines how you play your tech ops and everything. So it's a much different team, I would say.
So a bit more flexible in a way than it sounds, because of the way like you're not quite as hamstrung by where that confessor is.
That's true. Team. That's true. Well, although I wish we had a model like that.
Endurant. Hey, he's your tank, right? He's the Endurant.
That's true. That's true. That's not bad, yeah.
So talking about loadouts, then I think you've already kind of addressed it. But for the leader, you've said heirloom auto pistol, right, and power weapon.
Yeah. Yes.
Are you ever advocating for like the shotgun or the bolt pistol, or like always those two? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you need some sort of like a melee weapon, I think, and then like power weapon is the obvious choice because you need this additional melee threat. So if they overextend, your opponent overextends, you need someone to just like counterpunch them. So Sergeant is that guy, and I mean you can take power sword, but then it's like 4 attacks on 3s, 4, 5 with nothing, and then you take bolt pistol, which is like it's on 4s, so there's no point. So this is how I built the model. I never looked back. And shotgun, no, not really. Because you need the power weapon.
Yeah, I think it's like a really interesting like psychological thing to think about with the guy. Is essentially he's a buffing model, so he's going to stay at the back. He's going to be keeping your model safe
most of the time.
And then that means he's a perfect, as you say, counterpunch model, right? Because he's there ready to go. And he's essentially going to be on that back line. And then if someone wants to hide in melee against you, do you want a shotgun, which does absolutely nothing in a hatchet? Well, not really. You want a power sword to be able to just go in and go, bam,
100%.
Take him out.
100%. I mean, like him, and I think like him and the Axe Jack are the two counterpunch guys that I find out like using the most.
Yeah. So let's just go through the list of the other operatives. So Armsman, I think, when are you taking them, and like how are you using them or not?
So if you take everything again, like this guy's like 3/3 shotgun, hatchet, which is like 3 attacks on 4s, 3/4. The deal with the Armsman is that they have GA2, so you have another. If you take 2 of them, you have another option to just like double activate. And then I was just reading something on Discord that like double activating Armsman fully buffed can essentially just like kill a Ravener in one go, like deal like 20 odd wounds if we're full buffed, which is
with the 4/4 shotguns. Yeah. Okay.
With ceaseless and purity seal, 4/4 shotguns, move shoot is like I think like 68% chance or something killing a Ravener. So
I can see it.
So, yeah. So would you take 2 Armsmen? I don't know. Usually you don't, because like you want the skull, you want the the cat. But it's a good option to have, especially if you're playing against an elite, like something like Ravener or Angels of Death. I think 2 Armsmen is really good because of all these buffs again, and like how just like move crack can just like deal ton of damage. To anything really.
So I guess that's like an interesting way of looking at it, isn't it? Because essentially, if you're not caring about the activation advantage, and against Raveners, if anything, it becomes like a weird activation disadvantage because you have such a huge advantage that now you're just giving them loads of counteracts, right? So in that case,
and it gives you different options so that you can I don't know, if you have like 2 Armsmen sitting next to each other, you can just like charge with one of them to like the blocking model, and then the other one can just like move past behind there, and then you score 2 points on on your envoy. there are so many things that you can do, with this like additional double activation.
Because it's giving you also, I guess, complete flexibility because you don't have to be near to each other, right? Whereas the breach and clear,
Yeah,
you
you
have
don't.
that restriction.
That's true.
So that's
And
really cool.
and also like the one, if you drop the 2 cat and skull, with 2 armsmen, you're suddenly an 11 operative team, which gives you a better odd on the kill grade as well.
Oh,
Instead
yeah.
of from 10, you go to 11, which is much better.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that as well. Cool. So that's the armsman. Which is cool. Next up, you already mentioned him, the axe jack, right? So pretty much an auto include.
Yes. Yes. Most of the time, yes, I agree. So again, like it's like normal dude, 8 wounds, 4 up save, 5 up, feel no pain if it charges until the end of the turning point. So that's why it's like a counter punch model. That's why I was like saying it's really good. But with the power weapon, that's it. That's all it does. Just a man with an axe. So I mostly use him as like a holding doors. You can open doors for others and just like wait for people to overextend so that you can just like charge them and then punish them really. And that's usually how I use them.
Do you find him quite good in like strongholds for holding stronghold doors because
Yeah.
the fight first, that kind of thing?
That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
and also like with the equipment, you can open a door for free on close quarters so that with him you can open the door for free, charge, fight. So yeah, it's quite good. The axe jack.
Okay, you're making me want to play breaches already. Let's talk about the cat. So
The cat, sure.
Yeah, historically maybe a bit of a sometimes good, sometimes bad model. How are you using them now?
I think if we're gonna talk about the cat, I think we have to talk with the surveyor because this is how you pick them together. So surveyor is just like a normal dude with a shotgun again, and as like a 6-inch visibility plus 1 APL comms. What cat gives is additional 6-inch bubble somewhere else on the board where you can give plus 1 APL to someone else. The cat can also do something called spot, with like removing obscurity, only visibility, and then like you don't roll anything. You just like look at a model saying that okay, so the whole team, as long as the cat can see you, you can just no obscurity and then seek light. Usually people get really scared by that, which I have to say that they shouldn't, because most of the range of this team is like 6 inches. So if I'm shooting a model, I'm within 2 anyway, most of the time, or 3, something like that. So you're not going to get obscured from me anyway. I mostly use the cat because it's a fast model. It's like an 8-inch move model, and also you can move and dash 11 inches. So what I usually do is I just go in and give plus 1 APL to any point if I need that plus 1 APL, and then like I can just like hide it behind the light barricade because they have super conceal, and the best is that they are expandable, so I don't care. So sometimes I just like park in front of a AOD captain and then just like watch him spend 2 APL to get rid of that model. Like, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like because when I used to play breaches, I really enjoyed having the particular like Into the Dark and that sort of stuff. Where you have the issue of like rooms and you get split up, but being able to stick the cat in a room and then your surveyor in another room, you're like, cool, I've now got the flexibility to get APL buffs where I need them. 100%. And as you said there, which I hadn't even thought about, being able to use that 11-inch movement is like, okay, well, actually I need them to go all the way over here now and then hand out an APL critically to this person, is a really good use.
So you cannot really do much, but what you can do is that you can just like charge the guy next to their own banner and then charge and pass, and then suddenly they lose a point because of a cat. Like
it's contested.
Yeah, because that's contesting. Yeah,
and if they kill it, they killed an expendable.
Yeah, they kill exactly. So like, cool. Sure, so you spend an APL like kill a cat. Yeah,
that's nice. I like that. Yeah, because I mean, we're getting on to gunners in a second, but I think actually might make more sense to talk about gunners now because I think the cat would be really good if the las volley was really good, right? but it's not. And it's like, it used to be, I think, one of the better gunners on the team. I was like, oh, the las volley, like it had a place. It was like a big relentless gun. It was. So what's your thought
I
with
have
the
a model.
gunners? Yeah.
I have the model of a las volley. Have I ever put it on the board? No. I mean, it stays in the box. It's just like, yeah, it's chilling. Yes. So gunners, you have three options. You have melta, you have plasma, and then you have the las volley. Las volley is bad because like although like it looks like it's fine because like all the gunners hit on 4s, right? And the las volley has like 5 attacks. So five attacks on 4s, 4/5, rending. Oh, that's good. But then it's heavy dash only. It's just like you know, and there's no AP. Like it's bad. So you wouldn't take it. That leaves me with like 2 options: Melta and Plasma. Melta is just like so good with this team, so good. It's for again like this guy, like the gunners have 9 wounds rather than 8. So on its own, it's I think a huge buff because of the -1 damage. Then the damage breakdown is just like crazy. So suddenly you cannot really kill a 9 wound operative with -1 damage. And Melta is like again like 4 attacks on 4s, normal Melta like 6, 3, 4, piercing 2. But if you're within 3, you have your purity seals, and then you're gonna shoot probably with ceaseless. So even if you have like 1 hit, like 4 attacks on 4s, you have 1 hit, then you're gonna have like ceaseless, another hit, and then you will have purity seal for a 3rd hit. You know, if you spike, everything evaporates. If you don't spike, it's still good. You know, and you don't have these kind of stuff with like I don't know, for Brood Brothers, for example. You can have all the rerolls, but if you're gonna whiff, you're gonna whiff, right? But because of the rerolls plus the purity seal, then it's like really good, gunner, I would say. So that's Melta. Plasma, same body, same chassis, with plasma gun, 5/6, lethal 5 up, great. Hits on 4s. So I like him less because there are so many times I dealt 6 damage to myself. It's not even funny. Seriously, like
Yeah.
and then what I do normally, I just like pick my guns as my as my envoys. So I move, dash, shoot. With plasma, I cannot do that, or I just like shoot with like 4/6 piercing 1. Like, but with Melta, I know that I move, dash, I will shoot, and I will kill. With plasma, I'm not so sure about this, just because I cannot overcharge, because then it's going to cost me a point if I deal myself some damage.
So,
So
are you still taking him as one? Because you get 2 gunner slots, right? So you're taking Melt, you're taking Plasma, but he's just a bit less reliable. But I guess it gives you that long range threat on the table, which, although it's not reliable, is still something people have to think about, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
It's like I might shoot and do 6 damage to myself. I might also do 12 damage to you. So it's like it's a bit 100%. Of a.
So do you want that? I think that's the gist of this team. It's almost like you have those things on the table, and then you're telling your opponent which one do you want to engage, because they're all like bad odds for you. And then I will just like get back to you like in a very honest way. But yeah.
And I think like as you said, because of the 9 wounds and the way that their damage mitigation works, we'll talk about in a second. I think it is like it's just a flat upgrade on pretty much anyone else you want to take. Like an armsman sure might be more reliable than a plasma, but like it doesn't have the range threat. He's less durable, etc. That's right.
And that's true. I mean, like, and then like cat and plasma is the only real reason why you want to do this. But then again, when you activate your plasma, if it's not up on the board, if you leave it in the back, then he's not gonna be able to get any of these shooting buffs, because probably the attack order is somewhere in the middle, objective somewhere, and you're not within 3 of anyone, so you don't have the how do you say, the purity seal. So you're just like shooting 4 attacks on 4s. Let's see what happens, and then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. Cool. So let's talk about
the gunners.
These are the gunners. So let's talk about the endurant. Again, I'm guessing always taking him, right? Solid slab of beef that you can just stick down and go, try and move him.
For people who don't know, so it's like 11 wounds, 2 up save, 4-inch move, relentless shotgun built in already. It can fall back for 1 AP. Again, like you can hide in melee with him, and so it has like one stupid rule that you don't really use. So for the ones who don't know, is like you have to, if the endurant is engaged, like has an engage order, if you have someone from your team that's touching its base and is intervening on the shot, then you cannot select that second model as a valid target, unless it's a blast attack that you blast endurant. In that case, you can target the guy in the back, and like it's really bad. So I wouldn't. So that rule never came up. What do came up though is that you just like push forward into the mid objective. You just like so imagine this scenario, right? So close quarters. There's a room on the side with as like middle objective. You put your barricade. You just like sit behind it, inside outside. Give him. He counts as like +1 APL on this point. So 11. So you cannot melee him. You have to shoot him with 2 up save, 11 wounds, -1 damage, and then he will shoot you back with like 4/4 relentless shotgun. I mean, I'll take it.
most people don't want a 4/4 damage relentless shotgun in their face. Like, most of the time, like it's
with Pretty Seal, by the way. I mean,
yeah.
if you whiff completely, yeah.
Yeah. So he is a tough cookie, and like I think pretty much out of like outside of melter guns, and he's probably most things he doesn't care about. And even with melter guns, it's still like not guaranteed to kill one. So
yeah, 100%.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, 100%. And like he's gonna survive whatever you throw at him, and also like he's also good in melee in a way that he's like 3 attacks on 4s, 1/2, but it's like a brutal shield that you double parry. So you cannot really just like, oh, I have the assault intercessor, I will just like charge and kill this guy. If you double crit, maybe. Otherwise, you're not gonna.
Yeah.
Either you're gonna parry my 1 hit or like.
And even if you double crit, right, you have to hit with a normal, and then have the double crits to then like, and hope you don't roll a crit on yours to be able to avoid it. So, he's a tough person to deal with. He's problematic for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, it's 4 moves though, so 4.
He's slow. So. He's slow. Yeah, he's got a penalty.
I'm just downplaying
it. Right. Next up, let's talk Geist Skull and Void Jammer combo.
The MVP.
The MVP of the team, who in my opinion used to be really bad, like really niche back in the day, and now I don't think he's quite so bad and niche. But what's your opinions on the Geist Skull?
I mean, there's a Melta Grenadier and the what's the guy's name? Void Jammer.
Void Jammer, yeah.
Yeah. So the Skull guy, and then those 3, they are just like amazing models, and then like this team heavily relies on keeping them safe, and then them just like dealing a ton of damage. Yes. So Geist Skull is 8-inch move, again expandable like cat model, 5 up save. Is expandable, like he can do 1 action, and that is give himself plus 6-inch move. So it's like 14-inch move total, and he just like charges 16 inches. So if you know what you're doing, which I think if you're playing this team, I think you have to know what you're doing. You cannot just like push everyone forward and expect to win. If you know what you're doing, you can just like get to anyone on the board with this model, really, and you can just like explode with your double activation of this like Void Jammer. So the combo is you activate Breach and Clear, which is the rule of this team, which is like you just like double activate 2 models within 3 of each other. You activate the Skull, you give yourself plus 6-inch move, you charge 16 inches, hopefully 2 or 3 models somewhere on the board, and then you activate your Void Jammer, and then he picks another model within 8 inches of the guy's skull, and then tries to stun it for 1 APL, and then on the second APL, he just like makes it explode. And if and the void jammer is the person who is sorry, I'm just like
There you good.
what's happening?
It'll
There we
take
go.
focus
Okay.
eventually.
And yeah, so the guy's skull. So the void jammer is the person who is doing the shooting. Therefore, like you put your attack order next to it, so you suddenly have 4 attacks on 3s, 3/4, ceaseless, lethal 4-up, stun everyone within 1 inch of that guy's skull. So that's maybe the only gotcha of this team. So and I just to make the record straight, I hate gotchas. I think this game should be played as honest as possible. I don't want to win a game because like so and so was like 0.1 inch, closer or further or whatever. But yeah, so that's why like whenever I'm playing against someone, I don't even remember how many times I said, are those 2 models within 3 of each other? Like, are you done activating? Are you sure? So those things I'm just like asking all the time because I don't want to just. I mean, it's already like feels bad, right? So whatever you go on the board is like something is gonna come and explode, and then deal a ton of damage. So yeah, so Guy's Skull is really good against most teams because of its stun, because of its, like if you're playing against a horde. So imagine Guy's Skull versus Cult. Imagine Guy's Skull versus Brood Brothers. Imagine Guy's Skull versus like Kassakin. So these things are just gonna melt. Yeah.
I think
So
like the worst thing about it is even if they somehow survive, they're almost certainly stunned. So like,
yeah, for sure.
If you're a tough guy, like you're a torment, and you live on very few wounds remaining, and now you're also -1 APL, you're like, great. Like I'm stunned. I've taken a bunch of damage. Like that's bad, and also someone else within 8 inches is probably also stunned on like odds probability. So it can be this huge like APL reduction in a team on a critical turning point.
I mean, and then the best thing about this is that I've seen people playing this team just like they're trying to rush this in the first activation of TP2. You don't need to. You could just like keep it mid TP2. Maybe they just like moved really well and then like nobody's within 3 of each other. I can guarantee you that towards the end of TP2, there's going to be some juicy targets. Beginning of TP3 is going to be an amazing target. You don't have to use it on that turning point. You can just like melt a Grenadier, and then beginning of TP3, then you can just like go with that, So
I think
it's an option. It's a really good option.
And you touched on something which is like really important in Killteam, which is like, so often people always talk about like, I don't see the value of snipers because they never shoot anything or anything like this, right? And it's like, oh, on TP2, my opponent was all spread out and they weren't giving me any good blasts. And you're like, cool, what you've just done is force your opponent to take across the board really bad, like suboptimal positioning. And if you can extend that into TP3, or they give away like a mega blast, right? Because as always happens, people start forgetting things, or they become distracted, or they go, oh, I really want to capture that objective, so I'll put the 3rd guy onto the objective. And you just have this horrendous mega blast ready to go the next turn. Then it's like, either they honor it for multiple turning points and then they have to worry about it the whole time, or you get them. And it's like at some point you're going to put models where they shouldn't be, and you take a risk, and suddenly the bomb comes in. And I think I think it's real value in potentially holding it a little bit longer, unless of course someone's like, here's 5 models, and you're like, oh, I'm taking
it. Sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely. And that's why I think like this is new for me as well. Like I was playing like another 11 operative, as you said. I completely forgot about that. Last year I was playing Sanctifiers, but I usually play like elf teams, which is almost all the time like get yeah. So they will get count over. What do you say? Activated. So this team is just like plays the game. I'm playing the crit op. I'm just like planting my banner, minding my own business. And then just like I'm waiting for my 11th activation for this guy on the flank to just like move dash to score me 2 points on my envoy, and then you and back to you. Like, what are you gonna do, right? So now you have to play the game, yeah, to win against them. I mean, like, because I think again, like some people they are really relying on a single gimmick or like something. Oh yeah, this I don't know, squig is gonna run and explode, or like I don't know something. Um, and then I think this is the ultimate counter to that because like if you don't know how to win in kill team, I don't think you can easily win against this team.
Mm. Yeah,
You
that
have to
makes.
know how to win the game.
Yeah, and you have to be like very aware of where the points are being scored and how the game is progressing. And it's like
100% that.
if you're like, and we'll get onto ploys and stuff, but I think they have really good ways to control crit up and control attack up and that sort of stuff as well. So that was the big boy, the Void Jammer and Guy Skull combo.
The MVP. Yep.
The MVP, like I think it is a continual cognitive load on your opponent until they figure it out.
It's gone.
Which is yeah, good. Yeah. Then a lot like two more to go.
Grenadier.
So then it's Grenadier next, who used to be, again when I was playing a team, easily the MVP. He was like the strongest guy on the team. How does he play now?
I think he's the MVP contender.
Ooh, okay.
So I think he's really good. I mean, your opponent has to respect this model. You cannot overextend, otherwise you're just gonna get a demolition charge to your face. Like 4 attacks on 3s, 4/6, blast 2, piercing 1, range 3 inches, and like heavy repo only, but still like 4 attacks on 3s, 4/6. It's a massive, grenade. Or like he also has like what cracks, stuns, frags, and then like and then like, they hit all of these things on 3s, and again with like those purity seals and attack order stacked, you're just gonna deal serious damage, and your opponent has to respect that.
I think it's like a really interesting way of like playing as well, having that. Okay, I've got a very hard denial, which is like 9 inches, right? So if you're in that bubble, like stand by. But also, what you'll probably forget about is I can also just throw a crack grenade. So, like, if you come within 12 inches, I can still throw a crack, and that's against the majority of teams sufficient to do the job, right? So I think easy to forget that when you're going against him. Now, clearly, he wants to use that demolition charge, and ideally, because it's blast 2, right?
Yeah, blast 2, yeah.
Like
3-inch range, blast 2. So against a good player, you usually won't be able to throw demolition charge. I mean, as you said, crack is most of the time enough.
Yeah, and I get like and this is my point. Like when I talk about what certain things do and certain things don't. Right, it's like the fact that he exists and he can be within range of an objective, say, with a blast 2 weapon that's so potent, means that they can't throw 2 models on that objective because you will blast them both and kill them both. So it's like, or they have to like really spread them out, but then they can't hide behind a barricade and that sort of stuff. So it forces suboptimal positioning, which I think is really really strong.
Agreed, and also like I think this guy, the Grenadier, is an amazing last model to activate. So like you just like push him forward, you crack or demolition charge, whatever, and beginning of next turning point, if they don't deal with it, then they're gonna have it again, and they have to deal with that. But then the beginning of next turning point, he's gonna have -1 damage, so you have to, deal with him, in a different way.
Because even if you just sprint him, move dash, reposition dash forward, and he's up 9 inches, and now he's within the point where he can get the threat. That's also big. All right, the last guy to talk about is the hatch cutter. So, what's your thoughts on hatch cutter?
Oh my god, he's so good. I love him. I love him. He is, I think, with the leader, he is the most strategic piece this team has. So there are, I mean, realistically, we play on 2 separate maps, right? So either Volcus or Close Quarters. In Volcus, you can just like nest in a, how do you say, in a stronghold, and then just like create another door next to the door. So therefore, like the whole like facade of a stronghold is now accessible terrain for you. And then they cannot really charge and then just like do anything for the guys behind that because it's like old, like Octarius, doors. So you cannot do that. So he moves up. he opens the door for the rest of the team, and then he just like is a really good melee operative as well. Like 4 second force, 5/6 brutal rending. I mean, and again with like purity seal, ceaseless,
Yeah.
is gonna deal like he's gonna charge and then essentially deal like 10 to 12 damage to any model after he breaches, so that there's a grenadier behind that and there's a melta behind that. Skull is behind there somewhere. It's a great point, and that's on open. On closed is actually even better because he can actually block the door. He can weld the door shut. So for the opponent, it takes like 2 APL to open the door. So whoever is behind that door is safe, but he can still open it for 1 AP. So it's really good, and then like you can open the barricades for you, so that you don't have to go around it or like spend 2 to go over. You can just like spend 1 and then go through it. And because it's accessible with your ploy, you can just like ignore that either. So you can be behind the barricade, ignore accessible, you just like run and then just like do whatever you want to do. So Hatch Cutter is one of my favorite models in this team.
For me, he reads as like everyone thinks breaches have no movement shenanigans. Like he is the movement shenanigan of the team, right?
Yeah,
so it's like I'm gonna make a one-way threat where you didn't expect it. And it's really, really safe for me to now stage in the same way like Breaker Boys can do for Wreckers, right? Like there's a lot of people that are using that tech on Volkus for Wreckers. And this is giving you exactly that same bit of tech. So it gives really good, like solid staging and just lets you have, as you say, just that one-way threat people aren't expecting. And being able to ignore the accessible penalty means that now it's like, okay, so I now have a way bigger threat range than you're necessarily expecting, and you have to be able to deal with that as it comes through, which I think is just phenomenal.
Funny enough, when I'm playing against like a good player, I mean, like I always drop Hatch Cutter in my last batch because I don't want him to know where I'm going to put it and then where the door is going to be. It's like normally you would play like, okay, Melta and Grenadier and something. Yeah, I mean like and this guy. I don't want you to know where I'm going to put this guy, where I'm going to open the door, where is that one-way threat, as you said, is going to be.
And again, as you mentioned on Team that like I'm going to close this door, and for a lot of teams, it becomes like an unsolvable problem. It's like, so I have to move up to the door, spend 2 APL to open it,
and what?
And then you're now there's a Hatch Cutter looking at you, being like, "Hey, buddy, I've got a melta gun that's going to shoot you first, and then I'm going to like chainsaw you." And it's like, okay, I don't want to do that. And it's like, cool, but if you leave it to the end of the turning point, then he's like, "Hey, buddy, I'm going to open this door for free, and they're going to come through." So it's like yeah, it's a really good synergy there, I think. Okay, so that is pretty much all the options I think covered.
I love that he talks like, "Hey, buddy."
He's a really friendly guy.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. He's a power fist. Yeah.
He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. He just goes in. Yeah.
He's a cool guy. Yeah.
So for one box team selections, I'm pretty sure you'll have more than one box. But if someone was picking up this team for the first time, what would your advice be when it comes to selecting who you're going to build and what operatives to take?
How many models are coming out of one box? I don't even know.
That's a great question.
So that
so I think I'm gonna have to double check now. I think you get the leader. Obviously, we talked about the loadout for that. Gunners, we already talked about them, but I think you have to choose between Endurant and Gunner is the downside. So you get an Endurant or Gunner.
It's like 12 operatives. So it's like 12 operatives. So you should be able to build the full team, and by full team I mean like 2 gunners.
So you don't get. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure.
No.
You get Endurant. Well, what you can do is you can kit bash another gunner.
Yeah. That's what I did. So like my Melta is in a normal body. It's not like the gunner body, which is like a slightly bigger, but it doesn't matter. I mean, like it's a dude with a gun. It's fine. You can see that it's a Melta. So this is how I would do it.
So yeah. So advice is, if you're buying the box, do a little bit of kit bashing. Buy yourself a 28mm base. I think they're on, or whatever it is. Check the box. There's other bases in there, right? To give yourself, instead of a Voidsman, give yourself another gunner and
Melta
Plasma, all the specialists, and then you get to go.
Ice Skull. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you do,
and then with the leader, you just like build a normal pistol, like a smaller pistol with power sword. That's it.
And that's it. That's one box kill team. And then if you want to add some voidsmen later on, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Or if you do buy 2 boxes, that gives you the official body, but they are close enough, as you say, that I don't think it matters. That is all the options that we talked about. So that's pretty cool. So I think if we talk about faction rule now, because this team essentially has 2 faction rules. One's probably going to be quite quick, which is Void Armor. And one's going to be probably a little bit more. So let's talk about Void Armor first.
Sure.
So I
just balanced armor save for Blast and Torrent.
Yeah,
basic.
There you go.
But I mean, like it adds surprisingly, good resilience to this team, I think. Because like when you're just like shooting with like a flamer or I don't know, like a rocket launcher or frags or something, suddenly just like you should. I mean, no, you shouldn't. I'm just gonna survive whatever you throw. I'm just gonna take some damage.
Forward balance is great, right? And also it has like some niche case scenarios where if you've got the dev blast rules, the other guys don't get affected by the dev. Only the guy getting hit by it does. Which again, like doesn't always come up, but if someone's got a big mean dev weapon and it comes up, then it's like cool, and it's also blast, and you're like, well, now I'm saving better, and my buddies aren't taking damage. So it's nice, right? Like
it's nice to have. And then like Grenadier is also like as the bigger version of this because it's like a big Grenadier, like a blast, whatever. So it's also ceaseless, like instead of balanced.
So you can reroll up to 2 with different. So actually kind of better than ceaseless.
Is it up to 2? It's not ceaseless.
Yeah. You can reroll 1 if you're normal dude, and 2 if you're the Grenadier, which is better than ceaseless because he saves on 4s anyway, right? So you're probably saving 1.
It does, yeah.
And then you roll a 1 and a 2, and you're like, oh, I get to reroll both of those. Stop nerfing yourself, man. This is where it goes.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, but the big one, which is probably what everyone cares about and why they want to play this team, is breach and clear. So, do you want to talk about the rule and like I guess synergies with the options that we talked about and how you would use it to maximum effect, really?
Yeah. So the obvious combo is, as we said, like the jammer and the skull with the breacher. But let me just like explain the rule for the people that don't know. So like you for 1 spot turning point, you can double activate 2 models if they are visible and within 3 of each other.
Yeah.
So that's simple, and again, like obvious combo is that what I just explained before, like skull goes, explodes, everyone is happy. I mean, everyone.
One guy's happy.
Yes, the breacher guy is happy. But I think you can always like do 2 gunners. You can use Grenadier plus a gunner. You can use your leader and gunner or Grenadier. So any of these things, if you set up for it, I think they're gonna be like really good combos with each other. Because of when you activate your leader, I think I told this a couple of times now. So when you activate your leader, you move your attack order. So at any point during his activation. So what can happen is that you have your attack order there somewhere, and then your melter goes there and then shoots with ceaseless. And then your leader activates, charges another guy, moves the attack order next to him, so he's like ceaseless, and then like deliver the attacks there as well. So there are like ton of stuff that you can play around with. To be fair, in the beginning, I thought that this team was going to be super boring, but there are like so many options to give you some creativity across the board, which I love it. Yeah. So those are the obvious combos that I can think. You can always like, I don't know, move crack and then the melee finish him off. Or something like, I don't know, like Melter can shoot, or just like Plasma can shoot, fail to kill, he charges, and then the Axe Jack can charge, get combat support, and then finish this guy off or something. So there are like so many things that you can play around. It's not just shooting. But yeah.
So I guess the key bits to focus on, one is you have to select it before you do the activation, right? So you've got to be like, right, I'm going to activate these 2 guys with breach and clear, and then you do that first activation, then you do the second activation. You can't be like, I'm going to activate this guy, do that, and subsequently to go, I'm going to do the breach clear on this guy.
No.
So you have to make sure you declare it. But I think you're right there. Like, for taking out elites is really good, right? Because doing that like double combo, the first guy goes in, does 8 damage, and you're like, cool, whatever. Axe then waiting like single crit, going to take you down. That's a really nice little like double 1-2. I think some interesting uses as well for taking objectives. Like, and you mentioned earlier about being able to go past people by like moving someone on, right? And just being like, I'm gonna root block you, and then someone else can come through. So when you get like an elite player, it's like, I'm gonna hold this objective, I'm gonna stop you from getting on it. And you're like, well, okay, this armorsman's gonna go say hello and just hug you for a bit. His buddy then runs by and just goes, tap the objective.
100%. When we go to deploys, I think there are so many additional layers that you can add to this, because you can play around with the movement, you can play around with additional APL, you can play around with like different things that you can do a lot.
So I think we've left. We've talked about quite a few of the potential options there for breach and clear, and I don't think there's too many more that come to mind. I like it for killing people, taking crit ops.
I think on its own, it's not big of a threat, but with everything else that the team provides, I think that's when it becomes really powerful. So this is how I think. It's like, because like you move, shoot, and then the other guy moves and shoot. Okay, so you kill the model, but as you said, you can do so much more.
And I think so one of the things I look at when I play teams is like explosive ability. So one of the reasons why I like elites is because I'm always looking for that. If you mess up somewhere, I'm going to kill 2 models. I'm going to kill 3 models. Like, that's what I'm looking for. And I think breach and clear is what really gives breaches that. It's like, if you give me the opportunity to move and get a blast somewhere, and that then kills 2 guys, and at the same time this guy goes over here and kills someone else, it's like that is the game winning moment where you're like, I got this playoff, and that's what's got me these kills. And that could be, as you say, a guy's skull exploding, or it could be the grenadier getting a blast, or it could be the taking down the elite that's really, really hard to kill. Because, like, let's say we're in wolf scouts, how do you deal with the leader? And it's like, well, the leader like doesn't die in a single activation normally. This gives you the tools to be able to kill him, which is I think those are the kind of things that makes it really cool.
Agreed.
Let's talk about faction equipment. So clearly they've got some. I don't know much about their faction equipment, so
I can go over them if you want.
Yeah, let's tell me what's good, what's bad.
Sure. Rebreather good, slugs bad. So Rebreather is the one that is making the team immune to stun and shock. What? This, like, you take one equipment and then your whole team is just like immune to Celestian incidents and
everyone said that Wolf Scouts were the problem, man. I remember everyone saying that Wolf Scouts were the problem because they get this little game lock. Yeah. Okay, so Rebreathers, ignore APL mods, huge, right? Particularly for things like Murder Wing, Celestial Incidents, Stealth Suits, right? All these teams that like mess around with APL, you're just like, not today, buddy. Not today. Cool.
Agreed. And then it's almost like auto take, because like you also like even if the team has nothing, which I think in my experience most teams have some sort of like APL manipulation of your opponent. Like you have some sort of like, I don't know, shock assault, like Celestians, like they all have something, or they can just like activate something to give them the stun ability, and then you just like take one equipment point and then just like, okay, so forget about this, let's play the game properly. Don't try to just like stun me or anything like that. So Rebreather is always good. And also, like, funny enough, like the cat and skull are also Navy Breacher operatives. So if your skull explodes and then fails to kill himself, it's still like 2 APL. So
he exists
because he's immune to stun. Easy.
Somehow he lives. Yeah.
I mean, in my experience, about 30% of the time he lives, because you can play around with your saves and you can play around with your ceaseless attack.
Reroll your successes, hopefully into failures, and yeah.
And also, like the -1 damage also applies for him if he charges someone within my own territory.
Yeah.
So,
So slugs, that gives you long range shotguns. Never take basically.
It turns your
2-2?
shotguns into autoguns. Autoguns, I think, like 4 attacks on 4s, 2-2 or 2-3, something like that. You don't take them.
Yeah,
it's fine. Just don't. Yeah, combat stims. It's fine. So it's ignoring your move stat change due to being injured. I'll pass. I mean, there might be. I mean, if you take Envoy and then you know that your opponent can easily injure you somehow, like I don't know, like cults, for example, they can just like put something and then that puts damage below the threshold, something, and then so for that it's good. Maybe against like Plague Marines, I don't know, but yeah, other than that, I'll pass.
I think the issue is like, because if it was you ignore injury, you're like, amazing, I'm taking it like all the time. But when it's like ignore movement penalties for injury, you're like, okay, so when I'm injured, like, and I want to move far, like it comes up. But a lot of the time when you're injured, it's because someone's just come and hit you, and they're usually right next to you. So like, it's like, you're like, well, you're already hit, so I'm just gonna hit you back.
Yeah, I agree.
So
and then like, would you take immune to your move stat due to injury, or crack grenades? Which one? I mean, it's when you think, when you put it that
this one's always useful, right? It's like this is always useful, and sometimes in some situations this one will come up.
Agreed.
And the last one, which I guess is also situational, is the system override device, right?
Oh, so good in close quarters.
It's like on one map, insane, and then otherwise you just leave it.
50% of the time it's auto take. That's kind of a thing, because like for the ones who don't know, system override, once per turning point, you just like open a door for free. So strong. Like it's essentially like you take one equipment, and then once per turning point, someone is gonna take +1 APL. Yeah, okay, I'll take it.
I wish it worked on Volcus. Like, I wish it was like on Volcus, it's a free. I would say mission action. Like maybe that's too strong, but like I think mission action's fine. Like, or you say it's a free pickup marker or place marker, or like you just make it so it does something other than like, hey, in half your games you actually only have 3 equipment.
You're not going to use them. Yeah, exactly.
Unless you just want to nerf yourself. So that's true. I guess if we're to rate these, like if you're on ITD, system override is like the top. If you're on Volcus, it's
Volcus. So it's like what I usually take is like breather almost every time, and then cracks for sure, and then like barricades in different shapes and sizes, and razor wire when needed, so that because most of my bases are like 25 mils. So I can actually just like create different passages for me, or just like make sure that you're going to spend additional 2 inches to get there. It's just to make life a bit more difficult for my opponent to get to me, so that a move is not enough. You have to move and dash to get to me, kind of a situation, so that you cannot. It's harder for you to just like take double kill. The charge is not enough. You have to just like move, dash, and then shoot me. Heavy barricade is good. Light barricade is good. So yeah. Cracks always take.
I think that makes perfect sense to me. So, anytime you're taking like smoke grenades to help increase your durability, or do you find that the APL tax for them isn't worth it?
It's too much. It's too much for me. I mean, like I wish, but most of the time if we are playing on Volcus, I'm behind, the wall. If we're playing on like close quarters, I am behind closed door. So no, it's not worth it, I think.
And I guess like the team already has a lot of durability mechanics. We're about to get into and talk about that. And it kind of feels like the team isn't hurting for durability, but they can kind of hurt for APL. So it's like you would need to be getting multiple uses out of the smoke grenade for it to make sense, which elites definitely do. I just don't think hordes get the same value personally. So that is pretty much equipment. So to quickly summarize, what I think you've essentially said is if you're on ITD, you're taking operate hatch, free mission action, free action, not mission action, and the rebreathers, and then you're going to give yourself crack grenades and some other like
sort of
barricade or whatever you need, right? Be that heavy barricade, be that light barricade, be that razor wire, whatever's applicable to the map, right? And then on open board, probably just the rebreathers, and then 3 and crack grenades, and then 2 bits of route restriction. And you make a really good point on the like, think about how big your opponent's bases are, and because clearly your gunners are on slightly large bases, but you can be like, oh, do I want to have like 28 mil gaps? Do I want to have 25 mil gaps? How do I want to play this to make it so that it's as favourable for me and as challenging for my opponent as possible?
I mean, most of the time, what I'm doing is that creating that path for my skull, and then make sure that there is enough movement, there's enough passageway for the skull to pass. Like that 25 mil is most of the time for skull, and maybe for envoy later on. But yeah, so as long as I have that, I'm happy.
And one thing, so I've mentioned it in a tactical tip previously, but I'll mention it again, is like think about using your own equipment to give yourself routes that your opponent can't deny. Because the amount of times I see opponents like they just don't get any sort of equipment and or whatever, or they don't place it first, and I'm like, yep, razor wire, boom. There's no 25 mil gap. I don't have to worry about that skull right now. Is like that is a massive relief to me. But if you just put a barricade on the halfway line flat and you're like, yep, there you go, I've got a gap, you don't, it just completely changes the whole tempo of the game. And I think genuinely in some games I've played, I'm like, that is the difference between me winning the game and losing the game was where you put your first bit of equipment, because the rest of the game was like, agreed. I can now get to you, or I can't get to you, etc., because of the equipment.
That's how it was in our game, right? So the way we played, where was it? Like Leicester, was it? Whatever it was. Yeah. So it was like that.
Yeah, right. And it's like I now have a route here that I wouldn't have had normally, and that kind of thing. Yeah. It's really small, but like it comes up a lot. All right, let's talk Straploys. Because they have some pretty spicy Straploys. What some of them you're getting for free. And some
as long as the leader is alive.
Yeah. But so I guess we talk about the attack order and defense order first.
Sure. So you put anywhere on the field. Attack order is giving you anyone within 3 inches of that token ceaseless attack rolls. It can be shooting, fighting, or retaliating. Defense is doing the same for the armor save. Your leader can either change the order from attack to defense or defense to attack, or it can move anywhere on the board. So I usually take attack order, rarely just like take defense. Like the defense order is only if I know that I lost initiative, I want that model to live, and then I know that that guy that you're going to activate can kill my Melta or my Grenadier or something, and then you have to shoot him, and then suddenly I'm just like making it harder for you to just like kill that model. And that's essentially how this team plays. I think you're just like trying to give your opponent bad trades. That's how you play Killteam, but this team specifically plays on that, like heavily relies on that.
Because I think like my smooth brain read of this is almost all your attacks are 4 dice. So you're getting to reroll more dice by using the attack order than you are the defense order, where you're rerolling 3 dice, and that you have other ways of making yourself more durable. That most of the time is sufficient to be able to get you to the breakpoint you need. And like if it's really impactful, that's what you have a CP reroll for. Like, whereas I think attack order Like it's so good, so time. But I completely, I 100% agree with your use case. Like it's a TP3, TP4, like probably TP4
I
moment where
need
you're like,
that.
I
Yeah.
need this guy to live,
Yeah.
and like if he lives, then I've won the game, and if he dies, I lose the game. You're like, sure,
Yeah.
he is ceaseless. Like everything is on this guy living. So I completely agree with that take. It's just if you're new to the team and think about what you're going to do, you're pretty
Attack
safe
order.
attack order
Yeah.
99% of the time, and then just think to yourself like, do I need this guy or these guys to live? Like somehow you've got 3 of your guys all in blast range, and the guy's got the frag grenade and he's ready to kill you, whatever.
And I think this specific ploy, like 2 ploys rather. I mean, so I think that's on its own is quite bad because like it takes 2 slots of your 4 strategy ploys,
Yeah.
attack order and defense. It's like it's an old team and it's gonna roll out at the end of this year. I don't think they're trying to fix that right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
They have bigger fish to fry. But yeah, so definitely. So the attack order and defense order, I think, is where your experience will show with this team. You have to know at the beginning of the round where the action is going to happen, and you have to put it properly on that right location, and then your leader's activation in the sequence of activations. If this action is going to change from, I don't know, home objective to middle objective or your opponent objective, whatever that is, that choke point, then you have to know exactly when to activate your leader to move that. So I think that is probably the thing you have to focus on when you're playing this team.
Yeah, it's actually very similar to AOD when you change your doctrines, and it's that mentality of like, when do I need that reliability flip, and noting that you can't come back, right? And it's interesting because it's for AOD, it's like it's just team wide. It's when am I changing between melee and shooting, but for like breaches, it's like, when am I moving my priority on the board to somewhere else? Like that's it's like you kind of want to finish with one area before you go to the next area, because if you're jumping between the two, your reliability's off. So it's like, do what you need to do reliably, and then go do what you need to do reliably over here.
Unless it's the endurance. In that case,
yeah.
He's chilling on that point.
Already reliable, right?
Already reliable.
Yeah. So we're talking about killing stuff. So let's continue on the theme of killing stuff. Talk about close assault, which got a massive glow up, right?
So within 3 inches, shotguns have from 3/3 goes up to 4/4, and for everyone. And again, if you're within 3 inches, whatever you shoot with has purity seal. And if I could just like count how many times when my opponent says, "Oh, what do you mean, everyone?" All their shootings, yeah. So all their shootings, everyone, all the time will have purity seals for 1 CP. So I'll take it.
It is such a massive reliability buff. Like I love purity seals. I think like often when I'm looking at elite teams, when I don't see purity seals, I'm like, ooh, like that's bad, because it's just complete whiff protection. Like, and you talked about the melt gun earlier, like 4 attacks on 4s. We've all seen it where you get like 1 hit and you're like, okay, well actually it's 2 hits. Like it's like worst case scenario, I'm gonna get something with like a ceaseless bell gun. So I think that is huge. The purity seals is absolutely huge. Like you're already taking it for that. And the fact that now it makes the shotgun slap even harder is, I think, a really nice change, because it takes those operatives that weren't a problem or weren't a threat previously and makes them a threat, right? Like you can't just park yourself next to the surveyor comms guy and be like, oh yeah, sure, well he's just a comms dude, right? Like, he'll take you.
Especially in TP3/4. So after you use your Geist Skull, your Void Jammer is just like a dude with shotgun. But that dude with shotgun is still going to throw cracks or just like have 4/4 shotguns in your face. And it's still going to do some things. And yeah, so.
I also,
I
also forgot to mention this then, but you just touched on it. Crack grenades with purity seals as well. Damn, like ceaseless crack
grenades with purity seals, yeah.
Spicy.
So that's why, like, I mean, although like I think combat steams are fine, cracks are better.
Yeah.
I mean, slugs maybe, but I mean cracks definitely.
Now the big one, which I think changes the maths on this team completely, in my opinion. Brace for counterattack, right? This is the if you haven't done a charge, fallback, or reposition, or you're in your territory, you get -1 damage on normal and crits of 3 or
Shooting,
more.
melee, everything.
Shooting
So
melee.
minimum damage is 2. Yeah.
That is big.
Wow.
Like that is.
I know. But that's what makes a team. I mean, like, you have to think that when you said, "Oh, the worst case scenario, you have a CP reroll on your armor save." No, you don't. You're playing on this.
Yeah.
You're playing on like what's the other one? Like close assault. So you don't have CP to reroll anything. This is it. You know. Yeah.
So
And that's why, like, most of the time I'm happy when my opponent just like says, "Oh, I'm gonna take the initiative." I'm just like, cool, like, more CPs for me.
give me more. Give me more CP.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about Firefly Poison in a second, but they are like they're also good. But like for me, like because the way in which I look at breaches is because a lot of people look at me go, 8 wounds, like 4 up save, and it's like not really because yeah, right. Like it's like any weapon that's going to kill them is probably going to have to kill them with an additional like dice. Or 2 dice, so you're looking at sort of a minimum of 10 wounds, but sometimes they're going to feel like they're 11 wounds. And the Endurant is going to feel like
14, 13,
yeah,
it's like a Marine, yeah.
He's a Marine. I always had this when I was like, people were going to try and kill like the leader who's 9 wounds, whatever, and they charge him and they're like, I'll just kill your leader, and I'm like, I don't think you will. Like, he is often going to live, unless you have a very proficient melee operative. Like, you need something to be able to get around that. Now, the only thing that I think does counter this, is one of the things to be aware of, is out of sequence damage. So just be careful for operatives that do damage either on the charge, like a Nemesis Claw do that with like D3 damage, because they can often...
Rake, Goremongers.
Rake can do it because they can put you into these breakpoints. So anyone that does that kind of ability, they can change the maths on you. So you got to be careful of that, but against most teams, it's phenomenal. Like, it's so good.
Agreed.
And it's kind of like I think one of the key defining characteristics of the team.
100%.
Any more to say about strat ploys? I guess for CP budgeting.
Yes. So I think that's the big thing. So CP budgeting is, I mean, I have to keep 2 to 3 CPs going into TP3, TP4. I just need to. And that's why I need to spend no CP on my attack or defense order. And that's why I need to keep my leader alive. That's why I cannot push him forward. So there's this kind of like, like knock-on effect on just like how the team plays. It's very difficult to explain, but when you start playing the team, you're just like understanding, okay, so I can see now.
Yeah, so I've talked a lot about CP budgeting in like various episodes and stuff, and I'm like, you have to understand that your entire reliability when it comes to killing stuff and surviving with this team is pretty much predicated on 2 strat ploys, and a free strat ploy that's given to you by your leader, right? So like 6 CP in your game plan needs to be being spent on those 2. So if you're always going first, you're not getting the initiative and all that sort of stuff, and that's your game plan, it's like, just be aware, and you're as you say, spending less CP reroll sort of frivolously, then it's like, just be aware that you're like you might go to turning point 4 and be like, why is everything whiffing? Like, why is everyone dying really quickly? And it's like, because you went into the turning point with your 1 CP and your leader was dead, and so now you don't have ceaseless, you don't have or you're not having the damage reduction, whatever it is. Like, you have to make some really hard choices, and that can be tough.
And usually it's on the reliability. So if you have like 1 CP going to TP4, you're gonna spend on -1 damage. I mean, it depends on just like if your opponent has like 1 model left, maybe not, but most of the time, if it's like a close game, you have to give up on reliability of your shooting going into TP4. And because as we're gonna go into strategy, firefight ploys, you have to spend some CPs along the way.
And like, I guess like the logic that I have is, or what I've said previously, is always do the guaranteed action, right? Like you could spend ceaseless and it never works out for you. -1 damage, always works out for you. So, like, if someone hits you with a crack grenade, they need to get another hit in, like, to be able to actually kill you, whereas otherwise it just goes straight through. So, and that's going to come up, right? So,
Yep.
and that's some really sound advice there. So, if you're in that fourth turning point and you have done some bad things and you find yourself like, what am I doing? Think, what is the guaranteed action? Okay, so let's talk Firefly Boys. Should we start with Overwhelm Target, which is that APL buff if you're doing the breach and clear, right?
Yeah, I mean, most of the Firefly ploys, they are like, whoops, okay, I have to do this moments. And Overwhelm Target is one of them. So how it works is that when you breach and clear, when you activate one of these models, you can give them +1 APL. Great. Amazing. So essentially for 1 CP, you get +1 APL while you're breach and clearing. So then it's very difficult for your opponent to assess where you're going to reach or not. So any one of these people can move, dash, and crack you. Right. So it's almost like you use your breach and clear as a threat more than actually when you actually hit, because then your opponent has to play around it. It's a great ploy. I usually play it at least once a game. If everything goes well, you don't need to. If everything goes according to plan, you don't need to. But things happen in game of Killteam, and then like usually once per game, I play this ploy.
I think it is that, like, again, because you have it, your opponent has to respect it. So although your melter gun doesn't have an APL buff, they go, well, he could have an APL buff, so I have to respect that he could move dash and melt me, and therefore it's giving you the effect of being APL buffed without actually having it, which I think is hugely useful for a lot of reasons. Next up is Blitz, which is, well, do you want to go through it?
Yeah, sure. So Blitz used to be the ploy you always played in the old, edition, second edition, whatever. So like in this edition, it's really underwhelming, I would say. So when you shoot or fight within 6 inch of an operative, you get accurate 1, and then if this is the first model to do this action, you get severe. So, it's very meh. I already have enough, reliability. I don't need this.
Yeah.
And I need the CP to get +1 APL to actually reach what I'm supposed to reach and then crack. So this is a big meh for me. Yeah.
I think it has it's had a real fall from grace because in my opinion, where it used to be useful as well, because essentially it gave you the same thing with different words, but because the hatch cutter, for instance, has rending, like it used to be like, oh, you can get like severe and you get rending. You're like, and now I can kill a 12 wound marine, but it's like now there aren't any 12 wound marines. If there are 12 wounds, they've got damage reduction. The rending doesn't stack with severe, and you're like, oh. Okay, so when's it useful? And the answer is like maybe on a melter sometimes. And you're like, well, again, most Marines are 14 wounds. So the fact that you're getting a crit isn't like, oh, you're getting a second crit. So it's not like, oh, you're now going to kill them with 2 crits. Like it's just severe, right? It's just 1 crit. So it doesn't shift the needle on a lot of reliabilities that I think you need it to.
And rather than getting an accurate 1, I'd rather roll fish for a crit anyway.
And maybe get a crit. Because if you're doing this, you have Ceaseless, right? And if you're doing this, you also probably have Close Assault. So, it used to be, I think, so much better than it is now. A bit of a niche pick. But maybe if it's like there's a guy who has 4 wounds remaining on turning point 4, and if you kill him, then you win the game. You're like, okay, cool. I'll just blitz and with a melter gun and do 4 damage. Like that's the only time I can like this thing is worthwhile.
No, because like I can just like pick up any one charge and then just like get Purity Seal and
just do it then. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, like okay, yeah. So I don't know. It just doesn't seem. Yeah, it's. I was trying to find a use.
I mean, maybe there is a way of use this. I couldn't find it, so I'm not using it.
Yeah. Next up is Lock It Down. Now this one I
Oh,
think is cool.
oh my god. No, it's more than cool. I mean, this is what is gonna give you that sweet critical points. So how it works is that this is what a ploy. I mean, so you select a model, you select a point, and then you say that until the end of the game, this model counts as +1 APL on that point, which is not a modifier. Therefore, you can also like give additional +1 APL to make him like 4 APL on that point. So, like, imagine the other example that I gave in that one single room that the endurance stays between, like, inside outside of that barricade, 3 APL sitting there. What are you gonna do? I mean, so yeah, and then like especially when you're playing crit ops, like, I mean, I'm not playing it every single game, but especially when I'm playing loot, download. I mean, this is huge. You just like put him there, and then it just stays there,
Yeah.
Or you just like sometimes you need that additional APL on the point and the end of the turning point, so that you're just gonna be like, oh, okay, so I'm selecting this random 2 wounds remaining patch cutter. Is gonna move dash to the point, but he's gonna count like 3 APL, and now you have 2 APL there. I have 3. I get the point, so I get more
I
crit
think
ops, whatever.
it's
So
I think it's so good. Like it's really good against elites just to take points away from them, and it's really good against like hordes, deny points and then against hordes say just to be like, and now I'm getting points. Um,
yeah,
such a nice ability. I think you touched on some really good like use cases as well. If there's ever like a time to use it, it's on like one of those downloads or datas where you're like, this point is going to become worth a lot next turn, and I'm going to spend a CP and essentially cash that in for VP, because at that point you need to now commit like way more resource than you have, or you need to kill Endurant, which you're not doing.
good luck.
Like,
I mean, you might.
yeah, like you might, but
You
like
might.
you've used your APL to kill the Endurant now and not tap the objective, which is I think a huge buff, right? So,
Right.
um, so yeah, so really good ploy. Not quite as good as like a poach or something like this, but
No, no, it's not. You're right.
it is it is still very very good.
And from that point of view, again, like because you said poach, I think this team is very honest in that sense. So
Yeah.
you know, as an opponent, you know that okay, so that guy is 3 APL on that point, and that's a puzzle you need to solve. As a
Yeah,
as a
and,
player.
and if you kill him,
If you
it's
can,
gone,
right?
right? Like it's
Yeah.
just that model. It's not like the whole team counts as additional.
No.
It's like this one guy, until he's dead, is doing it.
And then I can always play to another model. So and then next guy can be 3
the
APL.
next CP, yeah.
Yeah.
And then deckhand, which is essentially the movement shenanigans of the team.
Would you call it a shenanigan? You don't lose 1 inch when you're
Yeah.
going through accessible terrain. I wouldn't call it a shenanigan. It's not that. Oh, the whole territory, like every terrain piece counts as like 2 inches to climb or something. It's not like that. I mean,
It's not that
it's like,
crazy. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's just
it's just like you're moving one and you didn't spend that.
I think it's.
I mean, yeah, go on.
I was gonna say just with the hatch cutter on open, it's giving you that like, oh, there's a melt gun behind a wall, and actually he's able to get 9 inches out from there, and I got to think about that, which is nice.
I think most of the people miss the fact that, like on the lock it down on close quarters, you can also open the door as a part of your charge action. I think that's huge because then, like that random guy who's just like more than 2 inches away from the door can just like run, open the door, go in, and then just like I don't know, axe jack or something, and then deal that necessary 10 wounds to this goat and then kill it or whatever. So that's huge, I think.
And so, oh yeah, like I hadn't really thought about that. That is probably
Giving you options.
Yeah, like because often when you're staging on hatchways, you have to make like an awkward decision with melee operatives. It's like, am I going to be at the hatch where I can open it and then charge through it, like, or like, but I'm now in a threat bubble, right? Because my opponent can open it and hatchway fight me, or sit in melee and whatever. But now it gives you I can actually stand a little bit back from this. I can be 2 inches away, so you can't hatchway fight me. But I'm going to be able to get through that door like it wasn't a problem. That's a really nice use case, and I think that's where you can probably get like some creative movement and creative one-way threats people weren't necessarily thinking about. So, dude, I hadn't thought about that, but that's like a really good case for, for for using it. Anything else on ploys that we've missed? Like,
Uh, no, I think we have everything. Blitz is a pass, I think. But apart from that, all the other firefight ploys, they have their own places, and then they might be niche, but like they're gonna turn the tide of the game to your advantage, and then like on the strategic ploys, they're all gonna buff your team in an honest way, strong way, which is what I like to have in a team. It's not like, oh, if you're less than your full wounds, you can get XYZ if you roll more than 3 up or something. That's not for me. I'm like, okay, so you press on this button, everyone has like -1 damage.
I'm getting a buff. This is it. I'm good to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe one more thing. Sorry, on the brace for counterattack. You said it well, is in like charge, fallback, or reposition. If you did this, and then like if you're on your opponent territory, you don't get the -1 damage. But that doesn't mean that when you start of your turn, because you haven't done any of these actions, you still have -1 damage, right? So there's also that to consider, so that your envoy, Melta, move dash, deleted something, and then next turning point, you play deploy, and then like still has like -1 damage.
And he's 9
until
wounds.
he activates again.
Read.
And you can still dash and then
11,
shoot
12.
and then stay -1 damage throughout the turn. Yeah.
So I think it's a very interesting team to think about CP budgets with. And I think the use cases that we talked about there with like, okay, I can take some APL like where I need it, or I can like make myself better on an objective where I need it, or I can get some movement that people weren't expecting. They're all really good, right? But is it like, I guess the question you want to ask yourself is this worth what I'm losing the next turning point? And like, unless it's like in World According to Ryan, unless those actions are like essentially giving you VP, like you probably don't want to do it, right? It's like, because like it's a big punishment the next turn when you go, oh, I don't have any damage reduction. It's like, you want that. You definitely want that. All right, so we have pretty much talked about all of the sort of rules for the team, I think. So we're now into, I don't know what's better. Is it better to talk about tac ops then playstyle, or playstyle then tac ops? What's your, do you talk about the playstyle?
I think we can start with playstyle, because that's gonna,
it's gonna feed into
we can just like go over the tac ops really fast towards the end as well, like, because I think it's quite straightforward to tac ops. I think the playstyle is where we can talk a bit more. And I think when it comes to playstyle, I don't want to oversell this team, because I don't think it's an easy team to play. It's not that it's not Plague Marines, or it's not I don't know, because I don't think Angels of Death is I don't think it's like as smooth brain as you try to sell it there. But there are easier to pick up and then play teams than this one, for sure. And you have to know the basics of the game, how you generate VPs, how you, like, what are the breakpoints when it comes to shooting, when it comes to wounds, when it comes to, because every activation has to make a difference. And it's good that you have 12, because then you have a lot of options to just like, okay, so the endurance passes there, he doesn't need to do anything. Or just like this axe jack behind the door,
he's happy.
He's sitting there chilling, or just like taps the point, whatever the crit op is, and then just like sitting there. Or the axe jack is just like holding this door, not doing anything. But then you have to actually know in advance who you're gonna, or what are the options for you to do the bridge and clear. So you cannot suddenly, I pass with the axe jack. Now suddenly that, I don't know, this breacher cannot, chain activate with anyone, because there's nobody else ready within 3 inches of that. So I'm not saying that this team is easy, but it's not the, I guess, the most difficult team to play as well. So like this, I think it's like a nice balance team to play, and it's all about. Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say they sort of read to me like the you talk about honest and that traditional. Like they are the most traditional horde team when it comes to understanding the core principles of why a horde team is strong, and it's like you have these activations, and if you sequence them correctly, you can take down big guys, you can take out groups, you can do all sorts of things, but you have to like sequence all of your turns throughout the game, and you almost want your last activation to be your most impactful, so then you set up your durability and your reliability mechanics for the next turning point. And so that, like, for me, they feel like if you understand how to play a horde team, like this is a really good team for you. Like, because that's what you need. You need the core fundamentals of like what makes this team strong. It's using two guys to take down a big dude. It's using like waiting out my activations to be able to get the right model at the right place to become a problem that then is a durable problem for the next turn to give your opponent a challenging like decision-making process right at the start. If like your first activation of TP2 is your Melter moves forward and shoots someone and does some damage and doesn't kill them, like I think you're like again, Watercrun's one. I think they're failing to understand the strength of the team. Right? It's like you want each time you do someone it to be impactful. Like, and
if I can add one word to what you said, I think it's not to this team, is Killteam.
Yeah.
Like what you're just saying is understanding how Killteam plays.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to know all these things, like how your team plays, how your opponent plays, how to get that crit up. What do I need to do to score 5-6 from the tack up? You have to know all these things to be, good at this team. I think. And I'm just like learning just now. I think.
Well, you've been doing pretty well with them for a while, and other teams as well. So, like, with that in mind, like, and again, for me, it's the using activation advantage. It's using these abilities and that sort of stuff, and using the correct operatives in the right way. Should we talk about tac ops? Because I feel like tac ops right now, like there are some that have good synergy with the way this team kind of wants to be, and maybe some that don't. So, what's your read on it? And clearly, we just had the dominate buff, right? So that's changed. Sweep and clear buff has changed. But what's your read on tac ops, and how are you trying to play them?
I'm smooth brained. I don't understand. I still to this day don't understand how sweep and clear works. So I'm just like I'm ignoring that, tac op. Maybe it's a strong one. Maybe I should like read and actually learn. I don't do that.
I don't think so.
I think dominate is quite good because like you have activation advantage, and your last model should be a very hitty model, so that you can say then TP2, TP3, you can just like move dash and then just like shoot someone, and then that's your two, dominate tokens. The other, combo that everyone is like saying that it's a combo, but I don't think it is. But with your again like Void Jammer and your Skull, because the shooting action is done by your Void Jammer, then he's the one generating those dominate tokens. So if you give me like a juicy like 4 people blast, if I kill 3, then it's like a 3 VP for me. And good luck killing that dude that's sitting in the back of the, in a separate room, or the separate stronghold somewhere.
Behind an accessible wall somewhere you can never reach.
Exactly that. So dominate is, if I don't know what to pick, I usually pick dominate. Against elites, I think Envoy is equally good. Again, your last activation can be move dash and then shoot. And then you're moving and dashing, and then you're shooting. You don't need to kill like dominate. It's auto 2 points.
Yeah.
And then you have like 12 models to just like push forward. Unless you're playing against Carlos like I did, and then just like he pushes in your face, and then you pick dominate, and suddenly you're just like, oh wait, that was a mistake. I should have picked something else. Yeah. So yes. So usually those two are my go-tos, really. Against elves or something like that, I could play banner, but I don't see elf players that often So I usually play against, like the how do you say, wolves, or plague marines, or angels of death, or like goremongers, or something like that. So that where are all the elves gone? I don't know.
Yeah. They're not loving life right now, and I don't think they'd be too happy to see a whole bunch of 4/4 damage shotguns across the table from them either. To be honest,
Maybe that's why. Will. Yeah, maybe you're right.
Oh, the other guys have got power swords, so that's fine. So everyone's just getting mullered. Yeah, so I guess like I completely agree on your takes. I think there's like I guess like Breacher players of old are gonna be, I guess, tempted by like route to go, oh, like I do these big moves at the start of a turning point. I just like, for me it's a lot of risk. Like route, it's like, you have to have the movement potential, right? So you have to put yourself forwards, which is like counterintuitive to your brace for counterattack like mentality. And then like you're then going, well, I hope this kills this dude so that I get 2 VP or I get 1 VP. And then I'm now using my big hard hitting ability to maybe get the 2 VP. And then for the rest of the turning point, you're just a team that doesn't have anything. So like, I just, yeah,
100%, 100%. I mean, like it's I think this team wants you to just like be chill, make your opponent come to you, and then like give them a bad trade, and then punish them for taking that trade, or they don't take the trade, and then you pick your crit op as your primary, and then happy days,
and you win anyway.
And yeah. I mean, and I'm winning anyway. Yeah.
So yeah,
either way, I'm happy.
I like the envoy. I like the when you're essentially out activate because they can't do anything about it. I like the banner if it makes sense based on map. Like I think some maps you will look at and you'll go, there's a really good banner location and there's nothing you can do about it. And Dominate's a good, I think, optional pick. But yeah, because I think it just has like I think envoy. I think like banner, and I think dominate has really good synergy with the team's abilities, and I think that's like the bit I would lean into.
Especially if you go back to Hatchcutter and then how he can set up the board for you for your envoys, it's so good. I mean, like you just like break the wall here, and then I have like 4 guys behind there that you cannot reach to, and then any one of these like 4 guys can be my envoy.
I'm just gonna bring them out one at a time,
one by one.
One at a time. Out they go. Yeah. Like, yep, sweet. And I guess like the other ones are some of the other tack ops, like Martyr. Like these guys are durable, and so like I
always
don't
want them to die.
Like I always find it weird when it's like my game plan is that I'm going to lose a lot of my models. It's like I just think you're better off just going like let them come, let them bounce off you, and then you go cool. Yeah. Now I can just focus on killing that guy, rather than being like I'll let you have another go to try and kill the guy. Like no, it seems silly to me. And sweeping clear, I think, just too APL intensive. Like, so it is better now. It's better for elites because a lot of the time they had no good options. But with envoy and banner and that sort of stuff, I don't see it personally. There's probably someone out there that's like, no, like it's amazing because of this, but like it requires an opponent to come and interact with you on objectives, and there's every chance that they don't do that, and then you can just win by like
exactly so
by playing any other tack op, right? So like now you're just like, oh, now I'm losing out on tack op by taking super. Anyway, that's tack ops. We have talked about a whole bunch of combos and tricks, but is there anything that I've missed? Like when it comes to various combos and tricks that you think that is worth just calling out?
No, because they're not tricksy. Like genuinely, they're genuinely not a tricksy team. I wish I could just like use your outside of activation dash to go in range and then just like ignore the walls to charge or something. We don't have it. All right? So we don't have that. And Mandrakes. Yeah.
I do like, by the way, whenever, and this is a personal thing for me, but like whenever someone wants to talk about a team that's just bullshit, the example is always Mandrakes. It's Mandrakes and Felgor, right? Like, I don't know what it is about those teams. I do know what it is about those teams, but like, I just I hate them. And the problem is like,
but yes, so we don't have that, and then like everything is just like couple of activations in advance. You know exactly. You just like lay it on the floor and then just like on the board, and then you just like play it.
I think
as it's intended by the designers. I think.
Yeah. I think you've touched on the coolest stuff that they can do. So I think again the main thing is their faction identity, right? Like Breach and Clear, like it's not a gotcha. It's like this is what they do. So it's like if you want to take down a big target, you can Breach and Clear. You want to take down multiple targets, you can Breach and Clear. If you want to take an objective, you can Breach and Clear. Like it gives you these abilities that you can use, and then if that doesn't work, you probably have a Fireflight ploy that's going to give you that ability to do that thing. So it's like think about how you can solve it with the Breach and Clear. Think about how you can solve it with your Fireflight ploys. If you can't solve it for all of those, you're out of luck.
I think it feels like now that you're talking and I'm thinking, like I think it feels like Blades of Cain. You know, before they ignore the walls or whatever BS that they do. It's like any one of them can do those things, and then that's like a bigger threat than the striking scorpion actually shooting with a Seek light weapon, like 3-4 rending pistol. It's not that. It's the threat of having that, and I think Breach and Clear is that. Like you can do it whatever you want. Yeah, I can do it to just like get that point. I can do it to kill that model. I can do it to whatever. So that's why you don't have to do it immediately. Just like sit on it, just like chill. There's gonna be a moment. Believe me, there's gonna be a moment where you just go, oh, now this is a juicy one, and then you're gonna go for it.
I guess like it, isn't it? So like in 40k they talk about like go turns, don't they, and that sort of stuff. And I've listened to a few podcasts talk about it, but I'm like, there is a moment where it's going to become obvious, and you're like, I'm in. Like this is where I use this ability.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it feels like, especially when I'm playing against like elites, like, oh, like you're pushing to that mid objective with your guy. Are you sure about that? Like, and it's like, oh, who can get to him? Is that, well, I don't know. Like, if they Breach and Clear, the Melton Grenadier, the Axe Jack can just like whatever, and then like
this guy can ignore the accessible.
Can just like
you can get through it.
Yeah, exactly. So that and then you cannot reach me. I mean, I have a ploy that's like preventing me from just like spending that 1 inch like going through accessibility. Like, I can make him 3 APL so he can move and then tap the point away from you. Like all these things that can happen, or I can just like, oh, but you don't have anything. So it's almost like I feel like there should be like a checklist as an opponent. It's like, oh, as the Breacher player did the Breach and Clear, where's the skull? Where it can go? Like as the crack's gone, like where is the Endurant? Who has the +1 APL on the point? Almost like a checklist that you have to understand, and then play around that. If you don't have that, then it's gonna feel like a gacha, but it's not a gacha. It's like how the team plays.
Yeah, I think as well, like because this just came to my mind, but the way that initiative works now with initiative cards, like I think that can also inform your decision making as to like when it's worth doing it. Like, because if if you're almost certain you're going to get initiative on the next turn, you're like, I've stacked the cards, like
+5.
Yeah, like
I have +5.
I'm going to get initiative. Then it probably makes sense to make your big move right at the very end, so that you then have that like into the next one, like last activation, first activation, bam, bam, you've done it. Both the Breach and Clear actions, for instance, and you essentially just done like a 4 chain of operatives, and that could be huge, right? But if you're like, oh, I'm not getting initiative, like then don't wait for the game to be like, I'm gonna put my guy here and take this objective as my last thing, and now I'm just ready to die. It's like, no, so I think thinking about that as well, like what is your likelihood of winning initiative, and therefore do you set up a Breach and Clear between turning points is really interesting as well. So right now, when it comes into meta, like where do you think they sit? So I mean, I did a tier list.
You did, yeah.
And I put them put them at A plus.
Hot take. I know, and then
Like,
top of A plus as well.
like yeah, like which maybe was ambitious, but like I believe in breaches, but
Yeah.
you have a lot more experience. So maybe with someone who's maybe a bit more level headed, like where do you think they sit right now? But yeah, and then I'll explain my reasoning as to why I put them there, and you can explain
I
your
think
reasoning. But
I think they're a good team. I don't think they deserve to be like on the top of the meta. I mean, like there's Heretic Circle and then Breachers, and then I don't think they're that high, but I think they're in a good spot. They're not an amazing team. They're not a broken team.
no,
You have
no,
to
agreed.
know how to play the game, the team, to just like perform with them. But as I said, like they're not the hardest team to play as well, so that you can still perform with them quite okay once you get this like core kill team. Um, and how do I think they still against most of the big bad boys. I think they are good when it comes to the matchup. Like elites are fine. I'm not scared of like any elites. Like sure, I mean like wolves, cool. I mean plague marines, okay. Eventually they'll die.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the first shot, but the second shot they're gonna die. Uh, AOD is problematic, I would say, because like they can get like 5-up crit armor save, and like we don't get stunned, and then suddenly you're just like, oops, okay, so I'm struggling, and yeah, so AOD is a problem. Goremongers and goats, I think they are problems because this team really struggles with like double kills. Like I need to use my bridge and clear to get rid of a goat, which is ridiculous. I mean, I mean there is another 9 of them,
And
and
they
then I
have
can do this once per turning point.
yeah.
So I need like 10 rounds to just like kill all of them. It's ridiculous. I'm not happy. Um, and when it comes to uh, goremongers, you mentioned before, because of rake, it just like ruins the whole math for me. And then like they have like 7-inch move, they can push to 8-inch move, so 10-inch charge is easily going to be like kill one, and then like 2 more in charge, fight again, and then kill another one, and then suddenly I'm just like, I don't know.
And then you're melee fighting a goremonger, and you're like, this is not a good place to be.
It's
Yeah.
not. And then I cannot shoot them and then kill them because like my Malta shoots and then like, okay, so I have 2 wounds remaining, whatever. And then I'm shooting with my shotgun, is like, okay, I have 2 wounds remaining, whatever. And then I'm just like, okay, how do I finish them off? Because like when they activate, then they're gonna, I'm no longer,
Heal, move on. Yeah.
I'm no longer injured. Then I'm gonna do this and that. Yeah. It's a problem.
I think like so I I think I completely agree with everything you said. By the way, like Felgor are a massive problem. They're also a team that do mortal wounds, or sorry, damage outside of activations, or so outside of fight actions or shoot actions, which just completely screws breakpoints. Right, so they can just sit next to the endurant and just do damage and just do damage and just do damage. Eventually dies. Like, but I do think when I look at the meta, like I think there's like some weird things that can like kill them quite easily. Like Vespid, weirdly, like their shooting is actually like really scary for breaches because of all the dev wounds. But for a lot of the other stuff, it's like it's way more balanced. I think AOD has like a really weird like matchup into them, in my opinion. I say I play AOD at the moment, but like I want to take aggressive to get rending, so my chainsword reliably kill you. Because essentially what I'm looking for is like either I parry parry you out and kill you, or I hit you with a normal and have the crits and you have a crit and I can just crit you. But then I also want to ignore the APL mods from the Geist Skull. So I'm there in this like how do I when do I make that switch? And that's really really hard matchup.
Agreed.
I do think I'd be interested to know your business. I think Nemclaw might be good into you as well. They can do a similar thing to what we talked about with the Goremongers with the like bouncing between people and long threat ranges you don't necessarily expect. The downside is obviously base size and that sort of thing. So they don't have quite as long threat range to be able to get that initial fight. But I completely.
I'm okay with Nemclaw. And I agree that Nemclaw is going to charge and kill someone. Cool. But not all of them can do that.
Yeah.
2 of them can do that. That's fine. And I'm going to punish them and then kill them. And then once those 2 are killed, then he has like 3 activations to my 8 activation. And I'm happy with that. I'll take it, you know? And then I can play Envoy easily. I can play Critop, whatever. So, I don't know. Maybe I should be afraid of Nemclaw. But, you know, like...
I just sit on like my take is on like some ITD maps and stuff when you can get threat saturated and you're like, oh, there's a wall of Nemclaw. And you're like, oh, okay. Like, because if they can do that charge, D2 damage on the charge, you're like, now you're in a break point where I just kill you in 2 hits. And they rinse and repeat that a few times, like that can be really scary. But I agree with you, like if they feed you 2 at a time, you're like, okay, whatever. Like, but I think that's kind of been Breaches. Like, I guess that the 4/4 damage shotguns has changed that a little bit because that's kind of what Breaches like when I used to play against them. That's what it felt like. I was like, you got a scary metal gun, you got an axe jack that does some damage.
And that's it, right?
And that's kind of
like grenade.
And I'm like, you got grenades maybe, and like you have like maybe the hatch cutter, but it was a bit whiffy, and they usually die in 2 hits. So I was like, your melee threats they kind of die quite quickly, and the metal gun, like once I got rid of him, I'm now like able to trade quite efficiently. I think the 4/4 damage shotguns changed that. Like I think the 4/4 damage shotguns now make it so it's like, oh, like the guys that before I was like, oh, whatever. Like I don't care about him. He now does 8 damage to me. And I'm like, oh, he did 8 damage. Like you say, like that's a big chunk from 14. So I think they sit well. I think they sit really well in the meta. And when I look at like the general meta of like, and again, like I completely agree with your point as well, which you made at the start, which was they're not a broken team. Like this is a team that is very like honest. You can play them like very well. Your opponent can play against them very well. There's nothing like inherently unfair about the team, in my opinion, which is nice. And like I think that shows the health of the meta. Like the fact that like some of the top teams we're talking about are like Breaches and AOD, in my opinion, is like shows that the game is in a good space. Like because these are like teams that's like like they're legit teams. Like they're fine. Like I think it's good.
I don't. I mean, I've been playing this game since the first edition, and it's never been in a space like this before. So I think, there are stronger teams, there are weaker teams, but none of these teams are broken now. And it feels so good. I mean, like, kudos. I mean, like, I don't know how this is going to age. I don't know if it's going to nice edition, whatever. I don't know. Oh, this
Breaches,
is like new
70% win rate, 40% waste rate. You're like, oh, okay. Like, yeah.
And then suddenly the new box is like, oh, another Marine versus a broken Tau team or something. And suddenly...
Yeah.
I mean, could be. I don't know, but yeah. So that's how it is. So it's I'm quite happy with where they are. I wouldn't put them as high as where you put them. I would put them probably next to, maybe dwarves, like salvagers.
Okay. Yeah. So like 1 tier down, essentially. Like just
one. I mean, maybe at the end of A+. I don't know, but I don't. I have bias, right? So because I love the team so much, I wanted to succeed. And So I like them, but then again, like someone like Inquisition, for example, can play whatever they want, literally. And I mean, they're not as durable, but then they can pick like 2 shield guys that are quite durable. If they need that, if they need like full shooting. So
I think
compared to them,
maybe appeals to me, like from a competitive player point of view, is when I look at Breaches, is I feel like they do what they do very reliably. So it's like I've got this ability and it works quite reliably, right? And it's like,
yes,
and so like from a competitive point of view, I really like that because if you're doing like a long format event, right, and you're like, I want to be able to do things like AOD is a perfect example. It's a very reliable team, right? It's like I'm hitting on 3s, I've got rerolls, I've got Purity Seal, like I'm good, like I can do this reliably. And I think Breaches have the same mechanics essentially. Their damage reduction is reliable, their armor saves are bad, but they're pretty good. The shooting's pretty good, like outside of the plasma at long range. But like overall, it's reliable. So it's like I know that when I go and do, like point a melter at that guy, I'm probably getting 3 hits. It's like I'm gonna get 3 hits. I'm gonna do 12 damage. I'm happy. Like, and I think that's like a massive win for the team. Because equally,
Yeah.
if your game plan is bad, you're reliably going to lose. like if you don't have a good plan, like it's like
nothing's gonna save you.
The team's not going to go like, oh, I can now suddenly charge 10 inches and kill that guy for you. Like, no, there's none of that. It's like if you position poorly, if you don't have a good plan, you're reliably going to lose. If you have a good plan, you position well, you do your stuff, you're reliably going to win. Like, I think you get that. You get your skill reward from breaches. I think it's probably a good way of describing it, maybe.
And then for that reason, I think picking them as a team for an 11-round event might not be the smartest choice in hindsight. Because towards the end, I don't think many of these decisions were taken by my brain. It was literally like somewhere like this from
just do it like
it's muscle memory. Yeah.
I think the leader goes out front, right? Oh no, that's a different team I'm playing with. Like,
no, that's
he's
a different one. Yeah.
He's not a confessor. Let me put him back in the box. Yeah.
Steel BX.
I think that's everything on breaches. Do you think we've missed anything on breaches, or?
I think we covered everything. I think it's a nice team. I'm sad that they are rolling out at the end of this year. But that's me. I think I played with Corsairs when they were cycling out.
You're a fan of the Sunset team, aren't you? Like you're just like,
yeah, it looks like it.
Just when they're just on the way out. Get that nostalgia hit.
Probably next year I will start playing Inquisition.
ready for them to go. No, dude, I think this has been massively helpful. Hopefully, people who are listening to it and watching this like find this to be really valuable. I think there's like an absolute treasure trove of value in what we've just gone through. I definitely feel like I learned a whole bunch about breaches. And as someone who used to play the faction, like I think that's pretty cool to be able to go, oh, actually, there is so much more in this team. There's so much more depth in this team than people necessarily realise. So hopefully people can go through and like re-listen to the bits that they want to listen to. And it's probably good little like if you're heading to a tournament with breaches, you can be like take this as my refresher guide and hopefully get some good value out of it. So I think that's going to bring us to the end. There's an opportunity for you to do any final shout outs or any sort of comments that you want to make.
I'm guessing shout out to the old ones, so like Bot, Dan, Guy, Mikhail, Nick, and I think Dave. I don't know if he's gonna be back to the game. But yeah,
we'll see.
So, and he's not that old anyway, so I don't know.
Look for the smoke. He's there.
Yes, as you said in the beginning. So the fact that we live in or around London, and then just like we can practice together, just like adds a lot to me specifically. Apart from that, like huge shout out to you. I don't know if they are saying this to you when you are having these like sessions, but I think you should know that you are a crazy important voice in the community, and I hope that you realize that.
I really appreciate that. Thank
you. No, genuinely, yeah. So I have a question for you. So should we just like, do you want to make this go live or do you want to wait for WTC? No, I don't know.
As in, like, should I put that pre-WTC? That's a good question. I don't know. Like, I like to think.
No, we can go ahead. I think.
Yeah, like, as much as I mean, like, I do realize, right? Like, there's an interesting discussion point. So, for those who don't know, Serkan's in the team for WTC, right? In the national team, that sort of stuff, as is no real suspect. Like I think everyone would expect that to happen. So I realised that I have basically been telling every other nation for the past like 3-4 months, if not longer. I don't know how long I've been MetaWatch for now. Like exactly who plays what in our community, how we play it, what our opinions are of it, all that sort of stuff. Like so, all the information is there, right? I think the UK is a very open book when it comes to these things, and I kind of wish other communities would be the same. Like I don't think the game is better by hiding behind secret source. Like I think like I like honest kill team. Like I like turning up on the the table, and it's like we're gonna play a game, and the better player is gonna win, as opposed to you didn't know that I could do this, and that for me kind of feels like it feels bad. And I don't think there's anything in here where it's like, oh, now that I know that breach is going to be breach and clear, I'm going to completely change my entire game plan against it. It's like, but hopefully it means that people go, oh, actually maybe breaches are one to consider. But yeah, it is interesting, right? Because hey, like for the other communities, they have a big advantage. Because I've just been talking to players and that sort of stuff.
I generally don't mind. So if you're going to lose because of that, I'm happy to do that. So
Exactly.
if sharing this kind of information is going to make us lose, I'm happy.
Yeah, right. And it's like, like it is one of those things, right? Like I would rather that we lose being good sportsmen and we have fun and we have a good rep. Like I've always said this, like how you win matters in my opinion. And like if people don't walk away from it being like, oh yeah, that was good. Like say, hey, what we're saying is Polish, Spanish, Americans, Aussies. Where's all your secrets? Spill them all. Like we want to hear them too.
Yes, please.
This is the call. Let us know what you're bringing, and then we can all go into it open arms and just see who's best. There is one other like cool I do want to say. So if you are London based, and you are interested in getting into Killteam, clearly there's a whole bunch of London community that you can get involved with. And you guys are running like events down at Bad Moon now, right? So is it monthly or
every weekly, every Thursday? Yeah, I know. So weekly we are doing like these 2 rounds on Thursdays. If you're on Bad Moon Borough, so London Bridge. So if you're on that, please, you can just like get a ticket from Bad Moon's website. And I'm like, we are. Yeah, so we are there. At least like someone from our team is always there, so you don't need to be like hyper competitive or anything. We're just like picking up random teams to just like have 2 games on a weekday.
And like I would highly recommend it. Like if you want to get amongst some of the best Killteam minds that exist in the UK, that's where they are. They're there weekly, right? And it's a casual game, right? So you can have 2 hours just talking to some of the best players in the UK, and it doesn't matter if you win or lose. Like they're going to help learn about your team. You're going to learn about their team. They're going to give you some useful insight. It's as much time as we've done this podcast, right? And it's going to be just as valuable, and you get to play Killteam at the same time. So that's my pitch. If you don't want to go to London, it's too far away, whatever, then find your local community. There's plenty that are out there. And obviously you can go to talkify.com/KT events to find events that you can go to where you can meet all of us. And we love to talk about all this sort of stuff. And it's awesome every time I see people in the community and they come up and they say, oh, hey, I enjoyed your video on X team or Y team. And I think actually that you were wrong about this and I'm right about this or whatever. And it's good to have those discussions, right? So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening at home. Thank you, a massive thank you to Serkan for attending and presenting all of this information and preparing for it as well, because I think that was like one of the most informative videos I've done in a long time. So hopefully people really enjoy it. And it's been a long time coming that I've got you onto the podcast. I don't actually know how it hasn't happened sooner. So hopefully we'll get you on sooner and it won't be as long as a hiatus till the next episode.
Sure.
So yeah, thank you very much for that.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, like, subscribe, comment, all that sort of stuff. If you want to join the Patreon, it's all there. We are good to go, I think, and we'll see you on the next one. That brings us to the end of the episode. Hopefully you found something new or useful while listening, and if you did, throwing us a like would be greatly appreciated. If you want to make sure you don't miss any episodes, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the bell so you get notifications as soon as the next one drops. It really is the best way to help a small channel like ours. And if you can't wait and you do want early access, we have a Patreon where you can get exclusive access to all our content ahead of time. As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Just drop a comment below and we'll get right to you. Thank you so much for listening. I'm your host Ryan, this has been Turning Point Tactics, and we'll see you next week.